Hey everybody, before starting this week's episode, we wanted to stop and talk a little bit about the sponsor of our episodes, and that is Expedition Roasters, the artisanal roasters of pop culture inspired coffees.
You know, in these stressful times where we can't go to the parks and experience all of our favorite things and get those wonderful smells, it's nice to have a bit of that with us here at home, and you can definitely have that with Expedition Roasters.
Yeah, and there's a myriad of flavors that you could choose from depending on kind of what you want to reminisce about in a certain way. I mean, you could easily choose Route 66 Tire Fix, which is their morning blend coffee, which, you know, obviously is reminiscent of Cars.
Yes.
So imagine walking into Cars land, the asphalt fresh with the water that is evaporating after they cleaned off the entire area, fresh in the morning. You just walked in the gates, something like that. Or you could do Fortune and Glory, which is their Indiana Jones inspired coffee, which is bourbon streusel.
That's so good.
So-
But my favorite is Happily Never After.
Yes, your favorite is Happily Never After, and I have to say that one of my favorites is the Wonderland Coffee Crumb Cake.
That's
so
good.
and for all you coffee drinkers out there, it is such a well-balanced mix of flavor and the actual coffee flavor.
And the bags are super pretty.
Yeah, the artwork on the bags are pretty incredible, and you could actually buy the art on the website itself too.
Yeah.
From the actual bags.
Which you
So-
should, because it's so cool.
Yes. So if you find yourself needing a little bit of a pick-me-up, but you want to reminisce a little bit about the parks, I would highly suggest checking out Expedition Roasters, heading over to expeditionroasters.com and purchasing some coffee from them. You could definitely use our coupon code for your first time purchasing coffee, which is a Duo15 at checkout. And remember, brew your happy place. Expedition Roasters, an adventure in every bag.
Hi, and welcome to the Theme Park Duo podcast. Grab your park map, churro, and hop in line with us as we take you on a coast-to-coast adventure through the world of theme parks, haunts, conventions, and more. Now, here's your hosts, Nikki and Gabriel.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Theme Park Duo podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Nikki,
And I'm the other host, Gabe.
and we are the Theme Park Duo.
We have a fun episode lined up for you today. We are talking news big time.
That's it. That's the episode.
That is the episode.
Yeah.
It's news that we're talking about news. So
Yeah.
hopefully you enjoyed this week's episode. No. I think last week, because we had a pretty awesome episode last week with Don Iwerks, which if you haven't heard that, make sure you tune in for that and listen to it. Awesome interview done with him. Really cool information about his father, Ub Iwerks, who worked directly with Walt Disney and the creation of Mickey Mouse, and a lot of other really incredible things during his career with Disney and not with Disney. So if you haven't heard that yet, make sure you listen to it. It was the last episode.
Yeah.
But because of, the interview, we didn't really talk about news. And since then, and even before that, and up until now, there's just so much information that's been going around about theme parks and honestly, haunts right now.
Yeah.
There's just been so much information about haunts and what's happening, more cancellations, different kinds of haunts. So today we're going to sit back and talk about a lot of the information that we've been hearing about some of our favorite haunts and even some new haunts that are coming around that are very different than what we're used to because of the given circumstances of our society at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really, really interesting. I do want to point out, though, that right now, Nikki and I are in like a kind of a different setup than normal. Which,
we're testing things out.
yeah,
Honestly,
we're definitely testing things out.
every like the last 6 episodes, we're in a different place every time.
Well, we're constantly trying to improve the quality of the show.
Yeah.
While at the same time improving the quality of
Our
our experience of recording the show. Because we used to sit at the same desk and record in mics and kind of like look at each other side-eyed to kind of like look at each other while recording.
Also, it's just uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
Like Gabe's legs are comfortably under the desk, and I was like cramped with like my legs pressed up against like the pole side of your desk. Yeah.
So, Nikki's request was, hey, I want to be able to record in comfort.
Yes.
So we tried recording on the couch a couple times in the last few episodes, and I think that worked out relatively okay.
That's good for like the bumpers, like when we're
Yeah.
just doing the intro and outro.
Yeah, but
quicker.
like for interviews, that's really difficult. But then
Yeah.
also on top of that, like handling these microphones that we bought, they're not necessarily great for this kind of a thing. So this time around, we're using a few different setup pieces, some arms to hold the microphones for us and things like that. So hopefully this will make it a bit better for everyone listening and for us.
Yeah.
So, but also we have drinks today.
Yeah,
It is
we
a very
do.
hot day in Southern
Oh
California.
my gosh, it's like 105.
Yeah, it's very, very
Yeah.
hot. So, while recording, of course, we're going to need to quench our thirst with some amazing drinks. But it isn't really the drink that I'm digging right now. It's the glasses that we're using right now. We're using the Universal Studios Hollywood throwback glasses that you could purchase at the Universal Studios store at Universal City Walk right now. I am drinking out of the Back to the Future The Ride glass, and Nikki is drinking out of E.T.
Of course, E.T., my favorite nostalgic ride.
The one that you cried about,
Yes.
which many people know about now.
I cried about it closing in Hollywood, and I cried that I got to ride it again in Florida.
So regardless of what happens, the
I
experience
just
is
cry.
crying.
Yeah, I cry. Yeah.
I wrote it, cry. I have front of line, cry.
Yeah.
I sat back row, but I still wrote it, cry.
I
E.T.
finally
said my name, cry.
I finally rode in the bike with E.T. in the basket. Cry.
Cry.
Yeah.
But we have some drinks for us today, so to cool us off and quench our
It's not
thirst.
working. I'm still hot.
Yeah, I'm still
Yeah.
very hot. I'm still dripping.
Yeah, you're sweating from the
I'm
forehead.
melting.
Yeah.
I'm melting big time right now. But without further ado, we're going to jump right into
Haunting headlines.
So first up on haunting headlines is a little bit of sad news. So we're going to start off with sad news, and we're going to work our way up to very good news.
Okay.
I want to get this out of the way. This is very painful for me, and you know this. And everyone saw it coming.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to happen. It was only a matter of time before the news broke, and that is the cancellation of Knott's Scary Farm for 2020.
That one hit deep.
It hit real deep. Like Halloween Horror Nights hurt.
Yeah.
For sure. And I think a lot of people weren't expecting Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando to get canceled as well, which, a side thought on that, I think it shows a lot about the company to cancel that event and know that they can't give the audience that attends that event a high quality product with the given circumstances. So I'm actually quite happy with that decision.
Yeah. Especially for such a big year for them.
Yeah. The 30th anniversary of Halloween Horror Nights. And, I actually think that is the right decision. And I think I've said it before on the show. I've said it before on social media. But, if you have this huge anniversary, why would you squander that opportunity on a year where you're not going to be able to do everything you want to do?
Yeah.
Or have, certain experiences be hindered and neutered because of COVID-19.
Yeah.
Although their parks are open right now and operating, doesn't necessarily mean that Halloween Horror Nights would end up being this exact same event that you're expecting.
Yeah.
So, big kudos to Universal for making that decision, although albeit a sad decision. Knott's Scary Farm definitely cut much deeper.
Yeah.
Very embarrassing, but I cried, and I think a lot of people cried. So it isn't the information that you want to hear, especially when it's like your favorite event out of the entire year.
Yeah.
But along with that information, Knott's did release a pretty big press release of information that includes the Knott's Scary Farm cancellation. So I'm going to read that to you guys right now. And this is from John Storback, which is the vice president and general manager of Knott's Berry Farm. And this says, "We have been so grateful for the opportunity to welcome guests back to Knott's Berry Farm to enjoy our recently introduced Knott's Taste of Calico event, as well as the unique experiences in our California marketplace, despite the challenges that have come with the COVID-19 pandemic. I want to thank our guests and associates for making Knott's a safe place to visit during these challenging times. We appreciate everybody's support and cooperation with the park's new health and safety measures. We are getting through this together. Although we continue to work with government officials as well as health and safety experts on developing guidance to reopening our theme park, we are unfortunately still unable to announce an opening date. However, we remain optimistic for the remainder of 2020 and want to share a few important park updates. Starting August 21st, guests can enjoy an all-new outdoor dining and retail experience in a way that only Knott's Berry Farm can offer. With the all-new Taste of Knott's expanding upon the Taste of Calico experience, Taste of Knott's will celebrate 100 years of classic flavors from around the park with unique food, drinks, and merchandise offerings. Guests may enjoy Taste of Knott's throughout Ghost Town, Fiesta Village, and the Boardwalk area on weekends through September 13th. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure Taste of Calico was limited to the areas you could go to in the park. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this new Taste of Knott's is actually expanding the area. So that's actually a good thing.
That makes sense. And it is a good thing just
Yes.
for crowds.
Yeah, just having more area, more
Yeah.
surface area for people to go and kind of escape crowds, because that's kind of what you're trying to avoid right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
So, also on also on August 21st, the Knott's Berry Farm Hotel will reopen for lodging. Guests may learn more about special Taste of Knott's hotel packages at knotts.com. In the meantime, guests may continue to enjoy select offerings from the California Marketplace, which with alfresco dining on Grand Avenue, which you always like saying that.
Al fresco.
We're dining al fresco whenever
Yeah.
we eat outside.
Even if
So,
it's just a snack, I was like, we're dining al fresco.
Yes.
It just sounds so fancy.
it does. Regrettably, due to continued operating restrictions related to the pandemic, we have had to make the difficult decision to cancel our highly anticipated 2020 Knott's Scary Farm event. The unique features of Scary Farm will not allow us to operate within the constraints recommended by the CDC and public health experts. We know that this news is disappointing. Yeah. But we look forward with great enthusiasm to making 2021 Knott's Scary Farm our best year ever. When we can fully reopen the park, we look forward to introducing Knott's Berry Tales Return to the Fair, our all-new 4D interactive dark ride that celebrates a beloved classic attraction with a reimagined gaming twist. Guests will climb aboard themed vehicles equipped with jelly blasters to try to recover stolen boysenberry pies as they travel through a whimsical environment such as the Boysenberry Pie Factory, Frog Forest, Fortune Teller Camp, and Weird Woods. The ride culminates in a celebration at the county fair. Please keep in mind that all 2020 season passes and add-on products have extended through 2021. Our entire team is hard at work getting ready for what will be a fantastic year ahead, including the rescheduled Knott's 100th anniversary celebration. So, a lot of information there. You know, I'm going to blame the Knott's Scary Farm cancellation on the witches. They hung the lawman last year. What do they expect to happen? The event has nothing to go on anymore.
Okay, that's a steep slope, because how much are you blaming on the witches?
Almost all of it.
All of what's happening in the world, or just Knott's canceling Scary Farm?
All of it.
All of it?
All of it.
Okay.
I blame the witches for literally everything that's happening right now.
You
in
heard
our
it here,
world.
folks.
The
You heard it
witches
here.
of Knott's Scary Farm are the reason for everything terrible.
Yeah. Well, you know what? They weren't wrong last year. They said the hanging was dead.
And that's
it's
true.
not going to happen the next
It
year.
is dead.
You know what?
R.I.P.
It's
the
not
hanging.
happening.
They're not wrong. Yeah, they're totally
not
not
wrong.
For those of the people who are listening right now who are very confused and are just like, witches? The hanging? What's this? It's a show at Scary Farm, and last year they, like, the main character, which has been like the main character for a very long time, the lawman, you know, hangs a celebrity or a well-known person at the end of the show for just being like a heinous human being. The witches actually hung the lawman, so it was kind of like a twist ending to a story that people were very much not expecting.
And then they said the hanging was dead. Like
Yeah,
that
it
was
literally had a
last year.
tombstone.
Yeah,
Like 1970 something to
2019.
1973 to 2019.
Uh-huh.
Like a big projection up on the building.
Yeah.
Little did we know.
They
we would
jinxed the world.
Literally, they jinxed the world. So, you know, so be it.
We should have known everything was going to poopy when I had food poisoning at last year's Scary Farm.
That was the beginning of the
That
end.
was it was just like an omen.
It was an omen.
Yeah.
It was an omen.
Yeah.
Okay, well, moving on from Scary Farm into a little bit more brighter news, if you will, something a little bit more interesting, is there have been multiple surveys that have been coming out from Six Flags talking about different ideas of what would make people comfortable if they were to go to Fright Fest.
Uh-huh.
You know, different ideas, different, you know, concepts to evolve the event so that they could actually have an event as opposed to just straight up canceling it.
Yeah.
You know, and so there was an article on the Los Angeles Daily News website, which I'm sure this article and this information could be found elsewhere, but this happened to be where I read it, where it talks about Six Flags changing, or at least thinking about changing its event to better allow guests to come and experience anything at all. So it says Six Flags is considering a host of new horrors for Fright Fest 2020 that could bring mazes without monsters, social distancing scare actors, and drive-through haunts to its amusement parks as an alternative to canceling the Halloween seasonal events. A new Six Flags Magic Mountain survey asks haunt fans how they feel about potential changes coming to Fright Fest 2020, according to the Hauntline online news show dedicated to Southern California haunts. And some of these changes, let's see here. The Magic Mountain Fright Fest survey asked visitors how they feel about plexiglass barriers separating scare actors and visitors, haunted houses with no scare actors, outdoor-only activities with no indoor mazes, scare actors never getting closer than 12 feet of visitors. Other survey questions posed ideas that would completely reimagine Magic Mountain's Halloween event, including a haunted hayride through the park and a scary drive-through haunted experience. The survey asked haunt fans if zombie line dancing and cockroach eating contests would persuade them to attend Fright Fest. That last bit is a no-go for me.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be driving the 60 miles to Six Flags Magic Mountain for cockroach eating
or line dancing. I won't go anywhere for line dancing.
If line dancing was happening in our apartment, I would actively leave and find a new place to live.
There was line dancing at our wedding.
There was?
Yeah.
Well, we left at some point.
We did leave. Yeah.
We ended it at some point. But in all honesty, like the first 4 things that I read are not that bad. They're really not that bad. But do we really want like I said about Scary Farm, do we want a neutered version of what we're used to?
Yeah.
Do we?
It's a hard question. I mean, and like I'm coming from the place where I don't think anything they would do would entice me to go. You know?
Really?
Yeah, just for safety reasons.
Oh, yeah. So
it's not worth it.
So it's not that like the ideas aren't good. It's just for you, there is almost no thing that anybody can do right now that would convince you otherwise to go to an event.
Well, there's a piece of news coming up later that is an event that I would go to.
Well, I mean, they talked about something similar to that in here. You know, who knows
I would
if they did that.
I would go through the drive-through event.
Yeah, so if it was like in your car, driving through an event,
that's
you would
the
be okay
only
with
way
that.
I would go.
So you wouldn't even be okay with a
hayride?
Hayride style thing.
If it's a personal
tractor, hayride?
Yeah, what? Am I going to be in the back, like, haunted hayride? Am I with, like, 30 people?
Yeah, you're bumping shoulders with a bunch of people.
Yeah, no. So if it's a personal tractor, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit difficult because there's so many people.
Yeah.
And I honestly seriously doubt they're going to have a personal vehicle for everybody.
No, they won't. And even
they're going to just have to limit how many people are in it. But even then, if you're sitting downwind of somebody, that's not good.
And the hours-long line you're going to wait in, surrounded by people, just to go on the safe, socially distanced event. No, thank you.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things here. I mean, like plexiglass barriers, I guess that's fine, but once again, a neutered experience.
Yeah.
Haunted houses, no scare actors, which I guess would just be like animatronics and, you know, sets that go off, effects that go off with you stepping on like a button or a mat. Outdoor only activities, which is just scare zones, so no mazes, which is what I believe Busch Gardens is doing this year over in Florida. And then scare actors not getting closer than 12 feet, which is pointless.
Yeah. They're like all the way on the other side of the lane.
Far away.
Rah! You know, I mean, at that point it would have to be like, kind of like acted out scenes that they would do, you know?
Exactly.
But then you know, the scare actors are like interacting with each other. So is that really even safe? You know, so there's just so many things to do.
There's a lot of variables that kind of go along with changing the event.
Yeah.
If Fright Fest decided to do a more car oriented thing where you show up in your own car and you drive through different experiences, I think I would be more inclined to go to it.
Yeah.
But any type of haunted event where, you know, actors have to get close to you or walk around, I think that's just a no-go in general. I think that's very difficult for me to make that decision to go based on the environments that I'm used to going to when going to those types of events.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, let alone the fact that as many times as I said it, and I'm going to beat a dead horse here, but I don't want to go to an event that is a shell of what it should be.
Yeah.
is just going to be depressing. I mean, yeah,
Especially
I'm
if they're charging the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm sure I'll have a certain level of fun just because right now this year is depressing in and out of itself.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll have a certain level of fun, but I don't want to go and just have fun and then immediately be like, what it could be.
And then stress for the next 2 weeks with
If I
every
have COVID.
cough, every sniffle. Is it worth it? No, it's not. And like, I'm sorry if that, makes us seem like downers to the community that would go to these events,
The
in a
thing
different
is
form.
that if you're comfortable going,
If you're comfortable, fine. If you're in a situation where, you have the ability to go to an event like this and safely quarantine for 2 weeks after, do what you need to do, that's fine. But, we're just in a situation where we don't have that luxury.
yeah,
We have, elderly family. We have a 2-year-old daughter. There's just risks where we personally are not willing to take.
Exactly. And I think a lot of it too is calculated risks.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, that's what everyone should look at all of this as,
Yeah.
is calculated risks. Is it worth it for me to go? Can I go? Is it possible to be safe?
Yes.
Sit back and look at it happen first before actually going.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to go to Taste of Knots.
Yeah.
We've sat down and we've had the conversation. We didn't go to Taste of Calico. Our friend Nico from Entertainment Connection went. We got a chance to talk to him about that experience. And from everybody's accounts, that event was safe.
Yeah.
And there's not been any, accounts of the sickness coming from that location, at least not yet.
Yeah.
But from everybody's account, it is a safe event, and Knott's is doing everything they can to keep people safe, and everybody seems to be respecting the rules 98% of the time.
Yeah.
So we've made that decision and saying, okay, well, we realize that Knott's is doing a very good job at keeping people safe. So Gabe, if you want to go to Taste of Knott's, you should go, and just keep everything in mind of, social distancing, wear your mask, only take it off when you're around other people. And when you
only take it off when you're around other people.
Only take it off. Only take it off on other people so I can breathe in their breath.
Regretting saying Gabe could go now.
I'm going to be like Bette Midler from Hocus Pocus when she's sucking people's souls out of them.
I'm gonna
suck the COVID out of them. I'm gonna do that to everybody.
Man, what a superpower!
Yeah, I know, that'd be crazy.
Yeah,
suck the COVID out of you. That sounds bad.
Sounds awful.
That sounds horrible. No, only take your mask off when you're not around people.
Yeah, I told him he has to get his food and then go hide in a corner, like a little gerbil.
I already know. I know that park like the back of my hand, so I know exactly where I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
and I'm not gonna say it because then people are gonna follow me.
Yeah,
but and making sure I'm using hand sanitizer, and then even when I come home, my mask immediately goes in the hamper, my shirt immediately goes in the hamper, and then taking a shower.
He's gonna strip in the parking garage and come up completely naked.
So if you want to see a striptease show, make sure you go to no, that's not gonna happen. No, not at all. But that's what it is. It's calculated risk. That's really what it comes down to. So making sure that you have, like Nikki said, the capability of quarantining if you need to quarantine, if you're going to go to an event that's like a typical event.
Yeah.
If there's safety measures like Knott's Berry Farm is right now, then I think there's a little bit more leeway without having to need to quarantine, especially because everyone's wearing masks or social distancing. So
we felt it out. We observed Taste of Calico. We saw what was going on, and we feel comfortable with Gabe going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And guarantee you there's going to be a taste of Haunt at some point.
Sure
Taste of Scary Farm, Taste of Haunt, whatever the name's going to be, there's going to be something like that.
Yeah.
And you can bet your candy ass I'm going to be there.
Uh-huh.
So I turned into the Rock there for a second.
You did. It's okay. It happens to everyone every once in a while.
Just a little bit. Everybody turns into the Rock every now and again.
Yeah.
Can you smell what the Gabe is cooking?
I turn into Dwayne Johnson from Jumanji.
Oh, so the Rock.
No, it's different.
No, but it's the same person.
No, but different
personas?
Yeah. No,
but it's the same person though.
But I do what does he do in that movie? The smolder?
Oh, he smolders.
That's what I do. So I turn into Dwayne Johnson.
I'm pretty sure you're not Dwayne Johnson. I'm pretty sure you're Kevin Hart because your weakness is power and strength. And cake.
My weakness
is cake.
Yeah, I'm 1,000% Kevin Hart / Jack Black.
in Jumanji.
In Jumanji.
Weakness,
specifically.
cake, and strength. Okay, moving on. Nikki, this next piece of news.
This next piece of news I'm very excited about, and this is an event that I really want to go to because it seems fun and different and super safe. This is something that
Super safe.
this is something I would want to go to even if it wasn't COVID year, you know?
If it wasn't COVID 2020, I would still
COVID 2020.
attend this thing.
Okay, so the OC Fair, like fairgrounds area, is having a haunt event, and it's a drive-through Halloween haunt. Guests will enjoy, in the safety of their own vehicle, a drive-through where scare seekers will experience immersive storytelling and terrifying sets. Guests will be entertained by live performances throughout their drive, plus experience 3 interactive show zones and an immersive show of lights, sound, special effects, and monsters will come alive.
So this event is called Urban Legends of Southern California. This is what that event is, and like Nikki said, it's taking place at the OC Fairgrounds, and it takes place all in your car.
Yeah.
You show up in your car in advance given time slots, and I'm pretty sure at some point you're gonna have to turn your radio to some FM station to get music put into your car.
Music and audio.
Or something,
yeah.
you know. And you drive through the experience, and the experience is around 45 minutes long. Like Nikki said, there's going to be like 3 main sections with, supporting mid-sections, kind of going from set to set. And recently, Midsummer Scream did a really good live stream with the creators of Urban Legends of Southern California, and they talked in depth about what to expect and to, stay tuned for more information about their event. First, huge shout out to Midsummer Scream, with David Markley and Claire Dunlap, Gary Baker and Rick West for having this incredible live stream, because I think a lot of us haunt fans right now are rabid for literally anything.
It gave everyone the beacon of light.
Yeah, pretty much the beacon of light that kind of has the fog going through it, and the beacon of light's green and orange.
The laser beacon.
Laser beacon? What laser beacon?
Well, that's what they shine through the fog. Like in the like.
Oh, you're talking about like to make it look like a bog,
swamp,
like a swamp,
yeah,
like swamp bog.
Yeah,
I almost said a swamp. A swamp.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like the lights, like in Scary Farm, like in Fog Alley, like the lights shining on you and stuff.
You know what it is?
What?
It's when you're driving on the 5 or the 91 and you can see the fog and the light in the distance, and you're like, oh, there it is. Yeah.
I can smell it. Literally, I do that whenever I show up late to Scary Farm.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
I just get so excited. But yeah, no, so Midsummer Scream did an incredible live stream with the creators of this event, and they kind of talked about in detail what to kind of expect from this. And like Nikki said, there's going to be 3 themed areas, and those 3 themed areas are Palmer's Grove, Hell's Mouth, and El Nido. So those are going to be, yeah, Nido. So those are the 3 major sections, and in between those sections are going to be different Southern California urban legends. So there's going to be La Lechuza, which is a witch who sold her soul to the devil for powers. Then there's also going to be the lizard people who supposedly live in the sewers of Los Angeles.
Okay, like a Doctor Who.
Yes.
Okay.
Then there's going to be Blaze Dragon, who is a fire demon, and it's spelled DRAG-ON. So I'm assuming it's going to be a person in drag.
Okay.
So I'm very much looking forward to that.
Oh, that's exciting.
I know that Jeff Heimbach is going to be very much looking forward to this. And then I believe that the entire event is going to be a mix of theatrical and traditional haunt moments. So it's not going to be like what people kind of expect when you go to any haunt.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit more theatrical driven, story driven, so that it's a unique style. But there will be scares involved, so thank God. And one other area is going to be the Monster of Elizabeth Lake. So Elizabeth Lake is somewhere near Lancaster, California, and apparently there's a monster that lives in that lake. So we're going to have that as a section as well. And no scares are going to be happening during the in-between sections. So, when you're driving from spot to spot, no one's going to come scare you.
That makes sense.
But they're going to continue to evolve the story and continue the story. So however they do that.
Probably in the radio. Yeah.
Probably. In the radio.
In the radio.
In the radio.
Yeah.
It's in the
The
computer.
files are in the computer.
The haunt is in the radio.
What?
No, and then they're going to have each show scene is going to be around 5 to 7 minutes long, and in order for that show scene to start, they're gonna everybody has to turn off their car. Like their cars cannot be on when the show scene is starting. You know, because that to me was like
safety.
Safety. But like that to me was like the biggest part of it is like, how do you keep people from SpongeBobbing in the middle of a haunt?
Floor it.
Floor it.
Floor
Okay,
it?
floor it.
I'm gonna floor it.
You know, you don't want anybody to get hurt. You don't
Yeah.
want any accidents. So I'm interested to see how that kind of works and plays out on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be easier because I think, like I mentioned before, they're going to be doing, you know, group intervals.
Yeah.
So only a certain amount of people going in at certain times. So, you know, having a very limited capacity as well as a limited amount of people or cars rather going in for every, you know, show
Yeah.
is going to allow them to kind of keep control over things a little bit more.
Do you know how they're charging? Is it per person or per car?
It's actually per car, and I believe right now it is going to be for our early bird special. Right now, it's $49.99 for a car of 5 people.
That's really
So
good.
that's $10 a person.
That's awesome.
So that's the early bird special. So
Yeah.
and they're going to be also offering VIP tickets, which are going to include extra perks as well as picture packages. That is a hard thing to say. Picture packages.
I want a VIP package.
We'll see what happens.
Gabe.
Yeah?
It's the only thing we're doing this year.
For you.
I want a VIP package.
Okay, fine. Do it. Jeez.
Okay, thank you.
Nikki shot me daggers. That was scary. that was enough scariness for me for this year. I don't need to go to this anymore. Nikki, have fun.
Okay, I'll have fun with my VIP package.
Alone. So the picture package is
It's
going to
just
be
me
you
crying in the car.
crying. I'm telling you, people, every experience ends in crying. Like E.T. I'm telling you. But no, we're very excited about this event. I think you and I both, as soon as we heard about it, we both immediately jumped up and were like, oh my God, we have to do this.
Yeah.
Like, this is something we have to do. Can we get a babysitter for this? Because we both want to go do it.
Yeah.
So, and apparently you could actually do it with your windows down. So as long as everybody's wearing a mask in the car at all times, you could roll your windows down, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that unless you're a big fat pansy who doesn't want to be scared and wants a safety glass in between you and everybody else. But I personally want to get as scared as humanly possible, so I'm going to roll my windows down and wear my mask. So very, very excited about the prospect of all this cool new styles of haunts that are kind of coming out of the woodwork because of this situations we're kind of in at the moment.
Yeah, it's making people think outside of the box.
Oh no, it really, really is. And I think that's honestly the coolest part about all of this.
Silver lining.
Is the silver lining of everybody starting to think different about our experiences for haunt and how can we evolve with the times and still deliver a quality event while following the CDC and health guidelines that we're being given right now. So that's really, really cool. And along those same lines, there's a couple other events that are kind of coming online that are kind of in the same vein of the urban legends of Southern California. Not necessarily the same theme, but, you know, in your own car, in your own healthy space and things like that. So there's another event called Scream and Stream drive-through haunt that's coming online soon. And Scream and Stream is an immersive theatrical experience. It's like watching a horror movie happening in real life from the safety of your car.
Ooh.
Performers will not be in the road with your vehicle and no one will approach your vehicle at any time. The road will be clearly marked. You will use your headlights. There's no way to get lost or accidentally travel off the road. Our performers will not be near your car for safety purposes related both to vehicle motion and the need for social distancing. So this one feels more like a show as opposed to a haunt, which is totally fine. I mean, you need to have these kind of different variables in these experiences because if you don't, they're all going to kind of be the same.
Yeah.
You know, that's why we go to a Drunken Devil. That's why we go to, you know, Scary Farm or Halloween Horror Nights or any other Zombie Joe's, you know, all those things. They're all very, very different in their experiences and what they're providing. So I like that this is a little bit different than just what you would expect. Yeah. And there's 3 things here. There's 3 different attractions. And the first one is Night at the Drive-In, which they spell it Night at the Die-In because the R and the V are out.
Oh, got it.
Night at the Die-In.
Yeah.
Now playing Night at the Die-In. The year is 1991. A group of teenagers have broken into an abandoned drive-in theater on the edge of town to goof around and have fun. Soon it becomes late and they decide to go home in order to make curfew. Except they discover that their car won't start. The fuel line has been cut. Horrified, the teenagers realize they are not alone. Hours from town on foot and no way to get help, the teenagers are forced to find help. Except someone is out there, lurking in the shadows, watching them, waiting for a chance to terrorize its victims. Guests attending Night at the Die-In will drive their car straight into the movie screen and witness the film unfold in real life all around their vehicles. This slow-moving 1 mile long drive-through haunted house will be completely contactless, perfect for enjoying Halloween friends in the age of social distancing. Sets, props, fog, lighting, audio, and live performers will bring the experience to life. Night at the Die-In also features original music by Andy Garfield, composer of the Marathon of Mayhem soundtrack of Halloween Horror Nights.
Cool.
So that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Then another one is Drive Boo Trick or Treat. Get it? Drive Boo Trick or Treat instead of Drive Through Trick or Treat.
Okay.
Nikki's not impressed. Moving on. The young at heart will love our Drive Boo Trick or Treat experience. Taking place while the sun is still up, you'll embark in your vehicle along a slow-moving road and enjoy the fanciful sights of Halloween time. Your kids will love screaming trick or treat at safe, social distance candy shops, where our friendly spirits will hook you up with a sugar fix, all delivered contactless to your car. Inflatable props, lighting, music, and live performers will bring this family-friendly experience to life. This is a great way to stock up on candy before your private drive-in cinema experience. Note, candy may contain nuts. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the only good Halloween candy. Tell you that much. And this next one is loading. The next one.
Kit Kats are good too.
No, just
they
Reese's
are.
Peanut Butter
No,
Cups.
Kit Kats are
Frozen
also
Kit
amazing.
Kats?
Yes.
Frozen Kit Kats aren't bad.
Frozen dark chocolate Kit Kats.
The next one is Boggy Creek Airboat Adventures. So glide through the trails of tall grass without knowing what will be found around the next bend. You will learn ghost stories and other legends of the lake as you witness nocturnal wildlife all around you. You are guaranteed to come face to face with nature's nocturnal hunters, including the American alligator. Price is $64.95 per person, and you're literally on an airboat, like one of those things with the giant fan on the back. You know what I'm talking about?
Are
Like
you
you're going
really
on the
on it?
Everglades, pretty much.
What?
Yeah.
Where is this?
This is in Florida.
Oh, you never said that.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
It's in Florida.
You just like jazzed out a bunch of people listening to this.
In SoCal.
And then they're like, damn.
I will make that in my child's kiddie pool. And we can call it a day. But yes, this is in Florida.
What was it all in Florida?
Yeah. It's
Like
all
the die-in and the trick-or-treat?
Well, that's all Scream.
It's all this, right?
That's all this.
Okay,
It's the
yeah,
three
you
attractions.
never said Florida.
Well, whoops, sorry.
Oh.
Goodness gracious.
I was excited. I was like, hey, another thing.
Well, sucks to suck. We can't go.
Gabe.
Sorry.
I'm actually mad that you
I'm
didn't say Florida up front.
Okay.
Send all the hate mail to themeparkduo@gmail.com.
No, send it to Nikki's personal Gmail, which I'm not going to give out because he would kill me.
Yes, I would.
Moving on, there's that one, which all of that sounds really, really cool.
It does sound really cool if you're in Florida.
Yes. No, yes. Hopefully all our Florida fans and listeners and friends will have fun at that event.
Yeah, I hope you do have fun, Florida listeners.
Oh my goodness, you're so bitter.
I am a little bitter.
This one is also in Florida.
Okay,
just
thank you for
FYI.
noting that up
It's
front.
called, yes, you're welcome. It's called The Haunted Road, a drive-through Halloween experience. Twisted creatures, immersive theatrical storytelling, blood-curdling encounters. A new, completely contactless Halloween experience is coming to Central Florida. Get ready to journey into a world of disarray as you experience Orlando's first drive-through Halloween event. Prepare to be haunted starting this fall. And then you have to sign up for emails if you want to get more information about what this event entails. So there's really not much information about that one quite yet. It's really just like a teaser
Yeah.
of what this event is potentially going to be. So that's really it. But exciting nonetheless. You know,
Yeah.
the more opportunities to go to a haunt during these times, the better.
Mm-hmm.
And then next, we have a little information about the Winchester Mystery House.
Ooh, I love this place.
Have you been?
Yeah.
I've never been. Feel like we've had this conversation on the show before.
I'm sure. Yeah. I went once, and it was like a daytime walkthrough tour, and I'm dying to go at night.
I want to do a nighttime
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Big time.
Okay. So this one is called Walk with Spirits Tour. Do you believe in ghosts? Are unexplained happenings?
Motorcycles.
Let's start that over.
Go for it.
This one is called the Walk with Spirits Tour. Do you believe in ghosts? Are unexplained happenings simply tricks of the mind or something more? Join us for a special experience in the shadows of Winchester Mystery House that explores the legendary estate's supernatural lore on the all-new Walk with Spirits Tour. Roam the expansive grounds of the world's most famous haunted mansion, hear tales of its former and possibly current inhabitants, and peer through the many windows and doors to see what might materialize, provided you're open to receiving the signs. So that's cool.
Just like Queen Mary, I would legitimately be scared to actually see an actual ghost as opposed to
The actors.
the actors.
Yeah, because I'm assuming
or anything else.
Because I'm assuming that's what it is. It's like a walk around the grounds and like a peek through, like.
You might see somebody like in a window or something.
That's what I'm assuming.
But
they're
who's
doing.
to tell if what you're looking at is actually an actor or not?
I know. You never know. What if you see the actor like clear as day and then you see something behind them?
That'd be freaking terrifying. It's like that time where we went to go see Aiden's show on the Queen Mary. And, after the show, someone's like, oh, I love the fact that you had that guy dressed up as, an old-timey person who would be working on the ship at the time. That was fantastic.
Like, wait, what?
He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, the person who was like on the side of the stage. He was standing over there. We don't have anybody hired.
There's no other actors. Yeah, there's no other.
Freaking ghost.
Yeah.
Almost dropped an F-bomb. They saw a ghost in the middle of the show. Just like Gus is like, what's up? And then left.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy the show. That's terrifying. It's terrifying. So, I would really love to visit the Winchester Mystery House. And, I'm really sad that we actually didn't go into the Winchester panel at Midsummer Scream last year.
Yeah.
But, man, that is on the bucket list for me to go experience because I've never done it. And it's a supposedly extremely haunted place.
It's just a cool place also. Like, the grounds are pretty. It's just a nice place to visit.
And the building the architecture is absolutely gorgeous.
Gorgeous and weird. But
gorgeous and weird?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Gorgeous and weird.
Well, it's very hodgepodge.
Oh.
She was building on rooms willy-nilly.
Because the ghosts were after her.
They were after her, yeah.
They were after her. She had to keep building.
Also, the stairs, like, how they're always saying, like, oh, there's zigzag stairs and all this to confuse the spirits. No, it's because she had a limp and one leg was shorter than the other, so she actually needed the really small stairs just to get up them.
No, but they had to make it interesting, Nikki.
Yeah.
The ghosts are after her because everybody knows ghosts can't go up small stairs easily.
Zigzaggy stairs.
Zigzaggy stairs.
It's like ghost kryptonite. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit. Zigzaggy stairs. Can't go up that.
Too bad there's regular stairs right next to the zigzaggy stairs.
Well, think about it. If a haunted place has zigzaggy stairs all the time, then only the first floor is haunted. Then you're fine on the second floor. Just stay on the second floor. Be like, oh, we have a 2-story home, but we don't go to the first story because it's haunted. Why don't they go upstairs? Oh, because there's zigzaggy stairs. Ghosts can't go up zigzaggy stairs.
Known ghost repellent.
Yeah, known ghost repellent. Just so if you guys don't want ghosts in your house, just put zigzaggy stairs everywhere.
Yep.
Just, common knowledge now.
Okay. We have to install the zigzaggy stairs in the new playscape.
Everywhere. Next piece of news, and this is slightly older news, but the Halloween Horror Nights tribute store opened up at Universal Studios Florida.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were waiting for this thing to open its doors. The facade popped up, and immediately, as soon as that happened, everyone's like, oh my god, I need to go in. They all sound like metal singers. I want to go in and buy all the merch. And basically opened up, and everyone just lost their shit.
Yep.
Because the store is absolutely beautiful. And it makes me very jealous that we can't have stuff like that here. But it has 2 very well-themed rooms. There's a 3rd room that's not open yet. I don't know if it's going to open because the event's not happening, but who knows? But one of the first rooms you go into is a classic Universal Monsters room where they have Frankenstein's monster under a blanket, with lighting happening on him with giant spinning gears, and it feels like Frankenstein's laboratory.
Cool.
And then the other room is a Halloween Horror Nights 30 kind of themed room where you have all the icons in that room. So you have like Jack the Clown, the Undertaker, the Storyteller, the Director, the Usher, all different artistic drawings of them all over the place. The colors are orange and red and yellow, just like fall. And there's a Jack the Clown mannequin standing in the middle of the actual store itself.
Okay, that's super fun.
Isn't that really cool? Look at those pictures.
Yeah,
it's
no,
absolutely
I'm looking
incredible.
at the pictures right now. It's awesome.
Yeah, and in the store you could buy all the Halloween Horror Nights merch you can buy, and a lot of it right now is Halloween Horror Nights 30 merch or just anniversary merch and things like that. So it ranges from t-shirts with the icons on it to really old school retro Halloween Horror Nights t-shirts to Halloween Horror Nights masks that you could wear at the park and things of that nature.
Is did they decide to sell the stuff because it has the year on it?
Well, they have Halloween Horror Nights 2020 on it. Like they have stuff like that. And then they also have Halloween Horror Nights 30 Years of Fear and things like that. So I think regardless of whether or not the event is happening, I think that merch was going to be sold.
Yeah. And they'll sell it again next year, and people who buy it this year can wear it next year.
Yeah, because inevitably, just because you're skipping a year doesn't mean that next year is 31.
It's still 30 next year.
30, which is fine, and now everybody has their merch ahead of time.
Yeah.
If anything, it just gives Universal an opportunity to sell their merch a year ahead of time.
Yeah, it just gives them money while, they can't have the event.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think the store is absolutely phenomenal, and I honestly wish that... I don't want to get into this topic like super hardcore, but it just makes me really sad that our Halloween Horror Nights doesn't have
the nostalgia,
the nostalgic feel to it, because each event year is completely different from the other. And that's not saying that Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando isn't different every single year, but each year has some type of overarching theme to kind of keep things cohesive. And I do feel like at least in the one year that we did go, the event felt rather cohesive, even though we didn't necessarily have a traditional icon as much as 27 had that Skull King guy, in Hollywood that was on stilts and he was like hovering over everybody. And that was kind of like the unofficial icon.
Yeah.
But, it just felt much more cohesive in the execution than Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood does.
Yeah.
And being able to have these iconic characters that people look to and remember in fondness for those specific years makes me really sad that we don't have something like that. Because when Halloween Horror Nights did come back here in Hollywood, they actually stole the director.
Yeah.
They used the director here in Hollywood for that one year, which, if anything, that's the one icon that makes sense over here because it's the studio.
Yeah.
It's the actual studio that still works as a studio. So, to me, just the nostalgic bit of it mixed with the rabidness of wanting icons and just all this cool stuff, it makes me really sad that we don't have that here.
Yeah.
It's something that I wish that we had here that we could build upon, because there's enough lore and ghost stories and true stories and all these things that take place at Universal Studios Hollywood that they could build upon to truly make something cool and that you could hold on to.
They tried with Hollywood Harry.
I mean, Hollywood Harry really wasn't
It wasn't like
an icon.
but
it wasn't an overarching thing.
It wasn't an event-wide thing. But I feel like if they had tried harder, instead of just making him like the thing for the Terror Tram that year, if they had tried harder to put him like all encompassing through the whole event, I think it could have worked, because he was a really cool concept.
Yeah.
And they made all these cool videos that they like showed you like on the tram tour, and I think
hiding on
like
the back
there were
lot.
promo videos even before that, so like I feel like they could, like, that could have been the spark to
It could have been the spark.
Yeah.
It really could have been. And I know that Murdy doesn't want to do that because he doesn't want to copy what Universal Orlando is doing.
It's not even copying it.
And to be honest, I don't even know if it's a situation of only the fans like us are the ones that are calling for it.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think Hollywood Harry could have been if that's his name. Is it Hollywood Harry?
It was Hollywood Harry.
Hollywood
pretty
Harry?
Sure.
Okay. If it's wrong, sorry.
Yeah.
But Hollywood Harry,
The clown,
it could have been the catalyst for driving original ideas more often into Hollywood.
Yeah.
Halloween Horror Nights, and really building upon either lore from the park itself or creating lore for the park itself.
Yeah.
And it really makes me sad that we don't see more of that, because, and I've said it on the show before, and I'll say it again, I'm beating a dead horse, whenever Halloween Horror Nights here in Hollywood does original mazes, they're almost always the best mazes.
Yep.
Almost always. And there are maybe a couple exceptions, maybe just like one or two.
Yeah.
But La Llorona, which is one of my favorite mazes of all time at
Yep.
Halloween Horror Nights.
Same.
Or El Cucuy, or Holidays in Hell, which was, oh my god, phenomenal.
Yeah.
So damn good. Even Pandora's Box, which
Pandora's
was an original,
Box, yeah.
which I would put on the lower rung, was still freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because we walked out of that maze and we were both like holding our breath, like, good God.
Yeah.
That felt like a barrage of scares, just constant, nonstop, high energy, which
Yeah.
was significantly different than the maze right next to it, which was Us was
Mellow.
not mellow.
Yeah.
It was unbelievably suspenseful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Which is very, very different than the high energy nature of Pandora's Box, at
Yeah.
least in my opinion. So, wanting more originality coming from Hollywood, and to me, that at least drives into the concept of what Orlando does.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's necessarily me saying I want to copy what Orlando does, but I think what I'm trying to say is that I want us at Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood to build upon what makes Hollywood unique.
Yeah.
And to drive that into the conceptual nature of what we're bringing for the event.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of a tangent, but I mean, like, it's been in my head for a long time.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's been in everyone's head for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, anyone who's listened to the show for a few years knows how I feel about Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood.
You enjoy it.
I enjoy the event when I go, but I can never help but be frustrated at the lack of heart in the event.
It does.
Like,
it does feel like a little bit. Last year was a bit different.
A little, but not
a little bit.
Still, like, there's no heart is the only word I can think of, because it's like the mazes are great. They're high budget, they're high quality, but like
personality,
the personality and then walking around, it's like the confined scare zones are so frustrating.
Yeah.
Because there's so many places that you can go where you're just like, oh, well, I know no one's going to scare me here, and it's just, you get bored almost, like walking through the big crowds of people, and it's like everywhere we went in Orlando was so unbelievably fun, like the clown scare zone and just walking around the different places with the different characters, and it wasn't always necessarily scary because the actors were just having fun.
Yeah.
And Hollywood doesn't have that.
It's this intangible thing.
Yeah.
That events inherently create through the cohesiveness between each section of scare zones.
It's not even cohesiveness.
And mazes.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like the way that they're able to make all of those work well together is kind of what helps create that intangible feeling of the event.
Yeah, no, and I do agree with that.
And that's kind of what Nikki's talking about, is this intangible thing, because it's not like you could point to any one thing at Hollywood or any one thing at Orlando and say that's the reason why.
Yeah.
Because it's not necessarily just that. It's literally from the top down and everybody who's at the event working it. It's just an all-around encompassing intangible feeling that's created. And I know what you're talking about when it comes to Hollywood and it not really having heart. There is a certain level of intensity that I think Hollywood is known for.
Yeah.
The scare actors and the way that they scare people in the streets, I think, is a very intense way.
It's also very calculated.
It is very, very calculated, and
yeah.
I think a lot of that feeling that you're having comes from that.
Yeah.
Because as opposed to other events that we've been to, kind of like Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando, or even Scary Farm, Six Flags, or
Fright
Queen Mary,
Fest.
Things are a lot more fluid.
Yeah.
Where scare actors kind of have a little bit more freedom. And I do have to say that Universal Studios Florida, Halloween Horror Nights over there, of course they have the same kind of similar scares where it's a music cue or a sound cue where they come out and do it. So that is still very systematic in that nature. But it's really the scare zones and just kind of the overall vibe that makes a huge difference. And that's not taking a crap on Hollywood, because we enjoy the event.
We enjoy it when we go.
We enjoy the high quality mazes. We enjoy the types of scares. It's a very different type of environment, and I think that's what you kind of have to take from each event, is the uniqueness of each and every single experience, and say, like, this is the reason why I go.
Yeah.
You know, we go to Scary Farm because we love Scary Farm. We love Ghost Town. We think it's absolutely terrifying. We go to Queen Mary because we like going on the ship because the ship is terrifying.
Yeah.
We go to Halloween Horror Nights because we like the high quality sets and we love seeing movie properties come to life.
Yeah.
You know, there's those particular things that we like seeing, and we do enjoy Halloween Horror Nights. It's just definitely think that there is a little bit of room for improvement, and I think that it's time for that event to evolve and change a little bit, just so that we can see what opportunities lie there as opposed to continuing down the same path that they have been, which, you know, I have no problem with mazes based on bands like Alice Cooper or Black Sabbath or Rob Zombie, things like that. I don't have problems with that. I don't have problems with EDM. I actually don't mind that. I actually think that EDM kind of lends itself very well to having a very chaotic environment, which tends to put guests and people going through a haunted attraction or scare zones on edge intentionally. And I think that actually puts them in a better position to be scared. So I actually think that all that works well. I just think a little bit of variety would do the event well. And I actually think that last year was a really, really, really good step in the right direction, because as much as we've always said, Halloween Horror Nights feels very serious, last year felt the goofiest.
It did.
And it helped so much, because if anything, if any word I'm going to use describes Halloween Horror Nights to me, it was uptight.
Yep.
It felt uptight. And scare actors in the houses can only do this.
Yep.
Scare actors in the streets can't take pictures. They can only do this or do this.
They just need to loosen the reins a bit on their scare actors, and the event would be so much better.
And last year, I feel like with the inclusion of Ghostbusters, and Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and even the scare zone in the Terror Tunnel, or whatever it was a cartoony version of like mechanics. I forgot the name. It was Toxic Tunnel. Toxic Tunnel. That's Toxic with 3 X's. Because it was the third year of it, I guess. But Toxic Tunnel was very goofy and cartoony. And I do genuinely feel that goofy, cartoony stuff that's not necessarily overtly scary, but more comical, is a really, really nice and needed juxtaposition to the seriousness of the event. Because you have like All Hallows Evil, which isn't goofy. It's very much straightforward horror. Or even when you're going to, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, which is horror. But then you have Ghostbusters and Creepshow, which have a little bit of humor intact into them. Then you have Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is very humorous. You have Stranger Things, which is a little bit more straightforward horror.
Let's not talk about Stranger Things last year. Let's not. It still makes me angry.
But then you also have Holidays in Hell, which is very humorous in its
kooky.
It's
was
kooky.
Fun.
It's very kooky in the way that it addresses the silliness of events. And makes it very violent, which is inevitably funny. Because the way Murdy and Chris Williams and everybody else involved with the event is able to handle those themes and say, what's funny about this? Okay, what would be funny to see? And then inevitably, just because it's a violent thing that you're looking at doesn't necessarily mean that it's not funny. I mean, like the in 4th of July, the kid was all burnt up with his legs and arms gone. I laughed so hard, but I also was just like, oh my god, that's horrible.
God,
And then you have the juxtaposition in the same maze of Thanksgiving, where you have a human body tied up like a turkey. Oh my god, it's haunting.
And then just the turkey people, right?
The
like
turkey, the gobble noise when it comes out and attacks you. Like, it's fantastic. It's those kinds of vibes that I'm looking for.
Did last year have a trailer maze?
A trailer
You know
maze.
what I'm talking about? Like a maze for a movie that hasn't come out yet?
No, I think the only ones were Dracula Untold and
Crimson Peak did it.
Crimson Peak wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good.
No, there's been more than I feel like there have been more than that, but
I'm sure there was another one.
On the whole, like Crimson Peak was just beautiful.
It was really pretty.
But on the whole, I do not like trailer mazes because they're just like, okay, we don't have a connection with it yet.
No.
It's like, stop trying to sell tickets to this movie that hasn't come out yet.
It's hard.
We get it.
Like,
it's really hard. I don't like trailer. Okay, I'm going way tangenty and way bitter.
We were already pretty far tangent. So.
Yeah. Okay. Bottom line, Halloween Horror Nights need to loosen up a bit and need to expand their scare zones. Because come on, they're not scare zones anymore. They're scare corridors.
Scare corridors.
Am I wrong?
They're scare hallways.
Am I wrong?
You're not
they're
wrong.
Scare nooks.
They're scare. Go open that door, and there's a scare zone in that closet, and then close the door, and then you're done.
Pretty much.
Honestly, the thing is that, like, another motorcycle. Honestly, the thing is that, like, the entry scare zone is a true scare zone. Like, it is a true scare zone.
Yeah.
Going through that feels great.
Toxic
But
Tunnel,
then-
I'll even
but-
give it to them.
But then leaving the entry scare zones and going all the way through Springfield, down the escalators, and then
The
at
lower
the-
lot
the
isn't
lower
even a scare
lot-
zone anymore.
the lower lot, and then to Toxic Tunnel. There's
next
so
one,
much
yeah.
open space that doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
I think last year, at least they had roaming chainsaw gang, so there was chainsaw people down at the lower lot. Thank God.
Yeah, every once in a
That
while.
was really helpful. And I
Yeah.
saw a lot of
But
really funny scares
but
happen.
even like just loosening the reins a little bit on the scare zones too. Like, what if in Toxic Tunnel someone followed you 20 feet out of the tunnel? And
yeah,
you
it's
were
like, as soon as you're
like
like 10 feet from the tunnel, you're fine.
yeah, no, because
is
because
bad.
right as you're at the exit, either end, you're like, okay, cool, and find out what, like, how scared would you be if one of them just kept following you?
Yeah, that would be
Like,
crazy.
They need to loosen the reins a little bit just to give people that feeling of insecurity.
Yeah, the what if?
Yeah.
Like, what if he keeps following?
Yeah,
me?
like I can't describe, like, so many listeners have experienced this too, where like you're walking like through like Knott's or Six Flags, and a monster just catches your eye and it's like, oh, I'm going after you. That doesn't happen at Universal.
It doesn't happen often.
Barely ever.
Like, they'll target you, but only stay within the confines.
No,
of the
at
scare
Universal
zone.
they
you-
target
if you
like
move
the
out of, like,
blonde
an inch
bimbo
out of-
screamy girl.
If you
They
if you go an inch out of their scare zone, they're not going to bother you.
Yeah, no, yeah, they don't care. They'll move on,
Yeah.
But like, okay, this is my scare area. I scare by the Starbucks. Oh, she went all the way down to Hello Kitty. She's gone.
Mhm.
It's like you know that feeling I'm talking about,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh shit, he's zoned in on me.
Yeah. Like, you can
yeah,
see somebody from like 20 yards
Yeah.
away look at you, and you're like, shit.
yeah. That
That's-
doesn't
he's coming
have
for
that
me.
feeling. That doesn't happen at Horror
It doesn't
Nights.
happen. It doesn't happen. And in all honesty, like, when it comes to Halloween Horror Nights here in Hollywood, I think there are much more limitations than we're aware of
Yeah,
when it comes to scare zones and where they can put things, where they can't put things, safety reasons and things like that. Toxic Tunnel, after Toxic Tunnel, there's a pretty good steep hill all the way down to the back lot, which probably is the reason why there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Even walking up to Toxic Tunnel, you're walking up a steep hill. That's why
Yeah.
there's probably nothing there. And then even before that, that's where you have the back of the line for like Killer Clowns, whatever maze was there. But, on that lower lot area where you're by
The whole lower lot
Jurassic
can-
World, Panda Express, all that stuff,
Yeah.
that should all be a scare
that should
zone.
all be scary,
should
and
be a
it
scare
used to
zone.
be. Yeah,
It used to be. The last thing I remember was it being scarecrows, and there was
yeah.
people on stilts.
Scarecrows is the last one.
And I do remember there being clowns up by Springfield, but I could be just remembering the clowns that left Terror Tram when Terror Tram closes, because it closes before the park closes.
Maybe.
The event, and they just moved to Springfield.
Maybe.
I could be thinking about that, but I think that outside of the things that are safety regulations, or you obviously can't put a scare zone here, I think that the scare zones really need to expand and feel more park wide than just sectional, because I don't like feeling like, okay, I'm in a safe area, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I want to always be on edge. I want to always feel like I could get scared at any moment.
And they just need to give a little bit more life to their scare actors, because
I mean, like, the life of the scare actor there in general, like, they're pretty damn good at what they do. I'm not gonna make it seem like they're not good. I don't want to make it seem like they aren't doing things well.
no, they're doing things well for how.
Like, they get those really intense scares often.
No, they're doing things well for the confines of what they're allowed to do. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm not saying they're not talented. I'm not saying they don't spook me out every once in a
So
while.
I guess the question is like, what are you expecting more out of them?
More fun.
So instead of it just being constant scary, like, talk and make fun of people.
I mean, okay, it's like, it's hard to describe, but there's this vibe of like, they're just walking through and they go, and they like reach out their hands like, and and they're going
Yeah.
down the line, just like hand in face, like, oh, I might scare this girl who's not paying attention. It's
Repetitive.
It's passive.
It's a little passive.
It's passive.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they don't do a good job. I'm not saying they're not energetic. I'm not saying they're not always in people's faces. I'm saying it's very passive. And I think that every once in a while, it should get a little personal.
Like get in people's space.
Yeah.
And I do think they
Or
do
like
that.
stalk one person for a while. And I'm not saying that they don't do that. I'm saying I don't see it, and I don't see it in a fun way as much as I see it in other places.
Yeah. Because I do think that the scare actors, at least, and I could speak from the scare actors that I've encountered at Halloween Horror Nights, they do have this very intense style of scare.
Yeah.
You know, this very intense presence when they are on stage and in their makeup or in their masks and they're scaring, you know, especially the chainsaw people, you know, at the entry of the park. Like those guys are unbelievably intense and do a very good job at freaking people out.
Yeah.
Because they'll come up to somebody who's like not paying attention and rev their chainsaw and that person craps their pants.
Yeah.
And it's really funny. And, you know, coming up and getting a peripheral scare or something from somebody. And those things work really, really well. I think I understand what you're talking about in the sense of, you know, expanding upon what they're doing a little bit from now, from what they're doing now. So I totally get that. And, you know, this is a really big tangent. And the thing is that, like, ultimately we don't hate Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood. We don't dislike the event. We like the event a lot. We go every year. And we give it great reviews because we honestly feel that way at the end of the event.
Yeah.
You know, after we go, these are our genuine feelings. I mean, there are mazes that we absolutely effing despise, like Stranger Things from last year, from 2019. It was absolutely god awful. Like, it was a complete disgrace to what Halloween Horror Nights can do, what they should do, and what they've been known to do.
Yeah, it's if you can't do something right, you shouldn't do it at all.
You know, and we're always going to be honest about those things. But then there's mazes like Pandora's Box, Us, Holidays in Hell,
literally
Killer
every other maze
last year
absolutely was
completely
great.
Stellar.
Yeah,
you know, we absolutely love Halloween Horror Nights. I think at this point, the whole point of this conversation and kind of this rabbit hole that we went down are the things that we really want to see evolve and change, and to see, like I mentioned before, to see where the event can go. Because at this point we understand the equation that they're using to give us the product that we have. I want to see a different equation to see a potentially different style of event.
I think the two keywords of what we're looking for that Halloween Horror Nights is missing is nostalgia and heart.
Nostalgia, heart, it's kind of those two things. So, you know, I'm really hoping for a little bit of a change, and I don't know what that is. I'm not somebody who works at the event. I'm not, you know, somebody who understands those things. Whatever it takes to kind of see the variables that could change in order to, you know, try something different, I'm all game. Because I think that's good for events. I think it's good to have change. I think it's good to have adjustments. I think it's good to explore different possibilities. You know, I think having a more comedic maze was a pretty big stretch for Halloween Horror Nights, especially given the fact that they've never really done something like that, you know, outside of more horrific comedic things. Which obviously, like watching Leatherface peel somebody's face off is comedic because it's silly. But, you know, having a Ghostbusters maze or having a Killer Clowns maze, those are very big stretches, and that's a good first step. It's a very good first step because the vibe was closer to what we were looking for than any year that I've ever gone. And
I agree completely.
And I completely enjoy, like I mentioned, the, you know, Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. Like, oh my God, that was phenomenal because I used to listen to that record with my father, and being able to experience those characters and see those things come to life were absolutely incredible. Or even like the first maze I ever went into, which was, you know, House of a Thousand Corpses, you know, absolutely phenomenal. Great scares. Really, really just dingy, dirty, like any Rob Zombie movie. Made me feel like I need to take a shower after. So I've experienced those things and I love those things. Just want to see versatility in what the event can be. Just because you're known for something doesn't mean that you always have to continue to only deliver that one thing. You always have room for one or two mazes to be that thing. But in every other maze, try something different. Or in the other scare zones, try something different. You know, and the last thing I'm going to moan and groan about, you know, the very backlot mazes, you know, where Ghostbusters was, Creepshow was, and Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, don't have a forced walkthrough scare zone. Don't do that. Let the scare zone be everywhere. Have sets everywhere.
Let them free.
Let them free. Let them mess with people in the line.
Yeah.
Somebody who's looking at their phone, tweeting, "Oh my god, how behind that? Oh my god!" And then they just get so scared.
Yeah.
Because they come up right behind them and they're not paying attention.
Uh-huh.
You know, those are the moments that I'm looking for, and I think there's an opportunity to do something like that.
Yep.
And I just really want that to happen. I don't know if it's gonna, because people tend to like those little walkthrough sections, like
Well, the walkthrough sections,
mini scare mazes.
The walkthrough section can still be there. That corner can still be.
Yeah, but just allow monsters to roam.
But
Add more monsters.
Let them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't confine it to the corner.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you're out of there, they're not going to follow you out.
Exactly.
So that's kind of what we were talking about before, is that as soon as you're like a foot out of their scare zone, they're not going to mess with you.
Yeah.
Like, you're completely safe.
Yeah.
Which isn't the feeling I want. I want the feeling of constant danger.
Yeah. No, I feel next year.
Which is how I feel in 2020
year, they should
entirely.
just loosen the reins, let them creep out, but don't tell anybody, you know? And then
I completely agree.
they just start scaring them willy-nilly other places, and everyone's like, oh my god, like this is new. You know,
exactly.
It'd be so exciting.
There's qualities of Halloween Hornets that I don't ever want to change, but then there's qualities that I think can really do well from change.
Yeah.
So, and last thing I'm going to say, 100% last thing.
You said the last thing was the last thing.
We don't hate Halloween Hornets.
No,
we absolutely
we
love it.
don't.
We just want to see some different changes and adjustments to things. Just see where the event can go.
Yeah.
So, but with all that being said, I think we are at the end of the episode where we talked about Halloween news.
Good, because our daughter's starting to wake up.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah.
Oh my god! It's from our. She has opinions about Halloween Hornets as well.
Yeah.
So she probably woke up. She's like, Halloween Hornets talk. I want to talk about that, because that's how our daughter sounds.
It'll sound like this.
And then a scream.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. That's exactly what she does almost on everything. Dinner. That's it. But her opinions are valid.
Yes,
They're
they
valid.
are.
You know. But thank you everybody for listening to this week's episode. A little bit of a different type of episode. You know, you've usually been doing like topic things, you know, top 5, top 10, interviews, things like that. Just thought it was going to be interesting to just kind of get a moment to talk about the news that's kind of been surrounding SoCal and Florida news when it comes to haunts. And kind of get our opinion out there, because we don't often, at least in the last few episodes, really been able to really dive deep into our opinions on certain things.
Yeah.
Because of the time limitations of wanting to be able to provide information in an episode without it going so long.
Yeah.
And a 2-hour episode and things like that.
It's
so
just
obviously
also
we talked an hour and 10 minutes about this. So.
It's a fun, like, just banter episode. I like these. I like just chatting with you.
I know you enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't, because I don't like talking to you.
I know. That's why you never talk to me unless we're recording.
Pretty much like our life is just recording, and then this is the amount of talking we get, and then after everything else is just grunts and shrugs.
Yeah.
That's not true. I'm lying. I love my wife to death.
To death?
To death.
Uh-oh.
But once again, thank you everybody for listening to this week's episode. Really hope you guys enjoyed this news episode, the banter episode, as Nikki likes to say, the tangent episode,
banter
as I
and
would
tangents.
say, banter tangent, bangent episode of the Theme Park Duo podcast. But if you guys haven't already, make sure you head on over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star written review. If you enjoy the show, if you absolutely listen every single week, you make the downloads, it's a free way to help support the show by heading over to iTunes and leave that review. It makes it easier for people to find us and enjoy us like you are right now. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can do so if you look us up at Theme Park Duo on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you want to email us, you can email us at
send all your hate mail to themeparkduo@gmail.com. Attention, Gabe.
Thanks. And last but not least, before we actually officially sign off, but I recently posted a picture of our art piece, or at least my art piece.
It's Gabe's art piece.
That I'm putting in the Not Scary Farm Into the Fog art show.
In whatever form that art show
whatever
is happening.
Form that art show is happening.
We don't know
Scary
yet.
Farm got canceled. So
yeah.
But in whatever form that's happening, I have a piece that's going in. It is a tarot card. On the back is the iconic Knots K with a purple circle and nice outline of black and things like that. And then on the front is the famous Knots Ghost Town Streets Monster Death on the front. So it is the Death tarot card, but obviously the Scary Farm version of that.
Yep.
And we have or at least I keep saying we because it's a we thing. The Theme
Yeah.
Park Duo.
I gave my input, which you thoroughly ignored.
Well, you said it was my piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. How am I supposed to say anything to that? Be like, yeah, it's my piece. I can't do anything without it sounding.
That sounded
like,
creepy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my piece. You guys want to buy my piece?
No, say no.
My piece.
You're just like walking around in a trench coat.
You guys want to buy my piece?
You open it up and it's just like
It's
tarot
just,
cards
tarot
hanging.
cards hanging. Want to look at my piece? Flash the tarot cards. No.
Okay.
So like the main piece, like I can't say piece without laughing. The main product that I've created is a shadow box with a holographic version of the death card. So it's all shiny, kind of like the way the Pokemon cards used to look.
Yeah.
And that comes with 3 cards, and it's in a shadow box, nicely framed, and it's kind of levitating off of the back over the other 2 cards, and you get to see the backs of the cards and the front of the card. So that's a more expensive piece. I think it's going to be going for around $50. But I have plenty of tarot cards that are for purchase by themselves for $5. So they're going to be cheaper versions of the more expensive
But
piece.
still really good quality.
Yeah,
Very
no,
nice.
they're
Yeah.
fantastic. And I'm honestly, because I have 10 holographic ones,
Uh-huh.
I have 100 of the normal ones.
Yeah.
So there's plenty to go around. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to probably throw in
Throw in a couple holographic
a
ones.
few holographic
Little wild
ones.
cards.
So they're almost like the chase version
Yeah.
of the card. So if you go to buy a print for $5, you may or may not get the holographic one, which is very rare in the grand scheme of what I've created.
Uh-huh.
I mean, when you think about it, the prints are 1 of 100,
Uh-huh.
which is fine,
Yeah.
but, 1 of 3
Yeah.
holographic cards outside of the main piece
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So keep your eyes peeled. Look on our social media channels because I did post pictures of it. So make sure to go check that out. Really proud of the way this came out. And if this does well, I think every other year of Scary Farm,
Another
I'm probably
tarot
going to have to
card.
create another tarot card
Mhm.
and create like a deck of tarot cards that are for Scary Farm only.
That'd be awesome.
So,
Yeah.
definitely check that out. Really proud of the piece that I created. And so far, the initial reaction has been unbelievably, overwhelmingly positive. So, just so thankful for everybody's kind words about the art that I created. Also, just want to say that I am unbelievably honored and humbled to be able to be included in an event next to so many incredible artists,
Mm-hmm.
involved in this event. And the fact that I get to share a little bit of wall space with these really talented artists is pretty humbling. So really thankful for all of that. So make sure to go check that out,
Yeah.
please. And we'll be posting more about that stuff as soon as we have information on when that's going to happen or how it's going to happen, the details behind it. You can always check Theme Park Duo for that information because we'll always have that stuff or on our socials too.
Yep.
As always, everybody, thank you for tuning in. And always remember,
There's always a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
See ya.
Thanks for riding with the Theme Park Duo. Make sure to gather all your belongings before the end of the podcast. Bye-bye.